Top-down game, boss. We will be creating a separate room for our boss. To get a matching aesthetic, I'm going to duplicate room 0 instead of creating a new room. Right-click on room 0 and click Duplicate. Change room 01 to room 2. Make sure that you are on the Instance tab so you can delete everything on the inside. Delete all internal walls, enemies, and your goal object. Next, drag the boss into this room. Now it's time to get our boss moving. Open up the boss object. I'm going to close the room editor so that I have more room on my workspace. To get our boss moving, we need to create a path. Right-click on Path, left-click, Create Path. Change Path 0 to Boss Path. These coordinates match the coordinates in our game. My boss is starting somewhere in the middle. That should be my first point. Add a point by clicking. Continue to click and create a path for your boss to follow. Your start point and end point should be the same. Go back to your boss object. Add a create event. Add event, create. Scroll over to the actions window and scroll down to paths. Add start following path into the workspace. Click on the arrow to select the path we just created. Click Boss Path. I would like my boss to be a little slower than my player. In speed, type 3. Let's playtest. To make playtesting easier, drag room 2 above room 0. Let's playtest. My boss only went one time around. Click the arrow to open up our on-end options. Click Loop. My boss also went past the walls. I would like to edit the path. Open up the boss path. Drag the point so it fits into a tighter shape. Let's playtest. Now let's get our player and boss to interact. Open up your player object. First, we need to make our player be affected by the boss. Add event, collision, boss object. Scroll over to the resources window. Scroll down to lives. Scroll down to instance variables and add a set life into the workspace. Type -1 and check relative. We also need to make sure that our player gets out of the way of the boss. Scroll up to movements. Add jump to start. Let's test this out. Now let's give our boss some health. Double-click on the boss object. You should already have your Create event open. Scroll over to the Actions window. Scroll down to Instance Variables. To keep this simple and within our scope, we are going to add a health bar instead of lives for our boss. Double-click Set Health. Health will need to be set at 100. Scroll over to add another event. Add event, draw GUI. Scroll over to the Actions window. Scroll down to Draw. There are a couple health options. Find Draw Instance Health. We will need to add 4 coordinates for our health bar. I would like my health bar to be in the top right corner. Type 800 in the left text box. Type 24 in the top. 920 in the right. And 42 in the bottom. You can edit these numbers to your liking later. Now it's time to add color. I'm going to keep my background color white and the outline white. The minimum color will be the color of the health bar when it is close to 0. The max is when it's at full health. These two colors can be the same. I'm going to start out with my max color. Now I'll do my minimum color. Now let's get this health bar working. Scroll back to the events. We are still on our boss object. Let's add the event so when our player projectile object collides with the boss object, the boss's health goes down. Add an event, collision, with player pro object. Scroll over to the Actions window. The first thing we need to do is make sure that the player projectile object is destroyed. That way the boss's health does not get drained in one shot. Add a destroy instance to the workspace. Hit the caret and make sure other is selected. Now it's time to decrease the boss's health. Scroll down to instance variables. Add set lives into the workspace. I would like my player to have to hit my boss 5 times in order to win. If health is set at 100, we need to subtract 20 each time the projectile collides with the boss. Type negative, 20, and check relative. Let's play test to see if this works. Now it's time to win. Scroll back to the events window. Add an event. Step. Scroll over to the actions window. Scroll down to instance variables. Add if health into the workspace. If health is equal to 0, I would like to go to that end screen. In your free time, this would be a great opportunity to create 2 different end screens, one for winning, one for losing. For this lesson, I will be using the same one as both. Scroll up to Rooms. Click and drag Go to Room on top of the red empty arrow. Click on the arrow in the Go to Rooms and select Room 1. Let's play test. Looks great to me. We have one more step to do. First, we need to reorder our rooms, and then we have one bit of code that we need to catch up on. If you've been following along, you should go from room 0 to room 2 to your end room. Our last task to complete the game is to finish our door object code. Open up your player object. Add event, collision with the door object. Scroll over to the resources window. Scroll down to rooms. Instead of selecting the exact room, I anticipate you having multiple levels before your boss room. Add Go to Next Room into the workspace. Now it's time to make sure that our entire game works.